Hello and welcome to Station 4 in our Stations of the Cross, 14 steps up the Via Dolorosa. Today, Station 4, Peter denies Jesus. Our text is Luke chapter 22, verses 54 to 62. Then they seized him and led him away, bringing him into the high priest's house. But Peter was following at a distance. And when they had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat down together, Peter sat among them. Then a servant girl, seeing him in the firelight, stared at him and said, "This man was with him." But Peter denied it, saying, "Woman, I don't know him." A little later, someone else, on seeing him, said, "You also are one of them." But Peter said, "Man, I'm not." And then about an hour later, still another kept insisting, "Surely this man was also with him, for he is a Galilean." But Peter said, "Man, I do not know what you're talking about." And at that moment, while he was still speaking, the cock crowed. And the Lord turned and looked at Peter. And then Peter remembered the word of the Lord, how he had said to him, "Before the cock crows today, you will deny me 3 times." Peter went out and wept bitterly. Here is Rembrandt's Peter denies Jesus, always in the dark with just a little bit of light. Karl Bloch, 19th century Denmark. You see Peter here in the foreground, Jesus and the crowd in the background. Here's a 2017 painting. Peter is just now having the thought dawn, "Oh, no, I did it." Why would Peter, the disciple of Jesus, upon whom Jesus decided to build his church, the rock? Peter's name Petros means rock, and Aramaic Cephas also means rock. My name is Pastor Ted Peters. I'm named after this rock. And in the moment of trial, Jesus' trial, Peter denies Jesus 3 times. What is going on here? Well, Pastor Robert says it's fear, that Peter was afraid of being associated with Jesus, was afraid of what the consequences might be for him. And when a person is afraid, then that person could do damaging things. I prefer the word anxiety. I think anxiety is the soil in the garden out of which sprouts and grows sin. Anxiety is that which fertilizes your and my actions that could be damaging. Think of the coronavirus fear, the anxiety with which people are confronted. Remember, we had not too long ago a great run on toilet paper. All the stores were out of toilet paper. And the shelves of grocery stores got stripped bare. And our politicians had to go on the air and say, "Don't worry about overstocking your food. There's plenty of food. The supply lines are intact. When you're hungry, you can go to Safeway and get what you need." That was an attempt to calm our fears. Let me distinguish briefly between fear and anxiety. A fear has an object. We get afraid of something. In the case of the present crisis, we fear getting infected by the coronavirus. That's a rational thing to do, and we take rational steps to accommodate our fear. Anxiety is a form of fear, to be sure, but it's a fear of nothing, no thing, no specific thing. It's the fear of nothingness, of dropping from existence into non-existence, or from being into non-being. Fear is rational, anxiety is not rational. But they are strong forces. Both of them are strong forces. So we race to the supermarket to get toilet paper and food when we don't need to. That's anxiety at work. And some people actually are going out to buy these guns. What for? It's amorphous anxiety at work there, and the risk goes up that an anxious person will squeeze the trigger and a neighbor will die from something other than coronavirus. Anxiety is the garden within which sin and violence grows. We Christians work hard to relieve anxiety while helping to cultivate a good, healthy, rational response to fear. And to relieve anxiety, we say trust God. Not to relieve fear, but to relieve anxiety, we say trust God. God is trustworthy. God is in charge of our existence. So yes, we would like to have less fear, but the deeper issue is anxiety and the remedy is trust. Well, let's finish this Station of the Cross by praying together the prayer that Pastor Mark Roberts gives us. Forgive me, dear Lord, when I let fear get in the way of my relationship with you. Forgive me for all the times I've fallen short in my discipleship because I've been afraid. Forgive me for failing to trust you when you've proven yourself to be so utterly worthy of trust. Help me, Lord, not to be like Peter in this story. When hard times come, help me to trust you more. When my adrenaline starts to pound, clouding my mind and suffocating my heart, help me to receive your peace. When I'm tempted to deny you, either in words or deeds, or by failing to speak or act, help me to trust and obey. May I live my whole life in honor of you. Amen. One more thing. This is plastic. It's a toy. Karen and I don't actually have guns in our home. The way to address anxiety is through trust, not ammunition. See you tomorrow for the next Station of the Cross.